Hello, Capital District. Hello, YouTube. This is Capital District Court Block. I go by Joseph Dombrowski. I'd like to start by saying I'm starting this channel for informational use only. I've stumbled across some information that I've been passionate about for quite some time now. And I just want to make it perfectly clear that I have no animosity at all whatsoever towards authority figures, policy enforcers, cops, judges, lawyers, prosecutors. I'm putting this information out for informational use only. Okay? It's we don't understand how our rights are being trampled on, and once you understand what's being perpetrated upon you, then that's all you really have to know. You'll know how to get out of it. So with that, I just want to let everyone know that I have no problem with the police or firefighters. I guess they're trying to jump on the bandwagon now with their flags, with the blue stripes down the middle, whatever, black stripe down the middle, whatever it is. I have no animosity. This is about information. This is about the truth. I've always known that there was a trick to this. I mean, I was looking up definitions of words. Like if you look up the definition of a statute, right in the statute it says that it isn't given the force of law without the consent of the governed. So I never understood. I don't give my consent when I go to court. I don't give my consent when I get pulled over. I definitely don't give my consent when I get put in jail. I mean, and I'm not talking about being lawless either. There's a big difference between legal and lawful. Legal is statutes, codes, rules, and regulations, legislation. It's not for people. It's just not. It's a corporate thing. And, the only thing that we need to be worried about on a human level, on a human being level, being a person, a real thing, is harm or loss. So if you don't cause any harm or loss, then there is no crime. Period. There's nothing else after that. So it took me a long time to really figure that out. Like, the definition of a statute. There was Supreme Court judges there's just one in particular, I can't remember his name, but he came out and made a quote that went something like, everyone that's in jail for a victimless crime has put themselves in jail or prison. And I was like, what are you talking about? How is that possible? How are people putting themselves in jail? Until recently, I was practicing this constitutional jurisdictional challenge, and the second I tried even the first sentence of it, I got confused and got shot down. So I'm thankful that I came across the other information that I did. I came across Hawaii Cop Watch. There's this guy Joe. He has a lot of great information on that. I think there's this other guy Dave, or something like that. I can't remember the other guy's name offhand right now, but there's this other guy on there who taught him stuff. They have another page. It's called Hilo Courthouse. I encourage everyone to go to those pages and check those out. And on top of that, there's a guy named Marc Stevens. He has a webpage, marcstevens.org. He gives you a treasure trove of information about how to enter dismissals and how to, all kinds of stuff. Just go check it out. These guys have been doing this for a long time. Gary is the guy's name that Joe learned from, and I got a lot of information from as well. This guy Gary. I encourage everyone to go on to Hilo Courthouse and Hawaii Cop Watch. There's a bunch of stuff on those. I'm just doing my own information about my own experiences, so that hopefully people around here can jump on the bandwagon and start learning how to flex their rights and learning how to stand up for their rights and not be afraid, because really fear is what's driving this engine. I mean, how we are giving our consent, right? How is that possible? Well, when you go to court, you can listen to any of the videos I have, any of the videos on Hawaii Cop Watch or Hilo Courthouse, and the first thing they want from you is they call your name, and they bring you up, and they read you the charges, and then they want to know right then and there how you want to handle the charges. Do you want to get representation? Do you want to talk to a public defender or whatever? Or how do you plea? That's the main one. They really want you to plea, because once they get that plea, you're begging to be punished. Everyone has to realize, get it in your head that if you enter a plea, any plea, I don't care if it's guilty, not guilty, no contest, innocent, whatever, you are giving them formal jurisdiction over you because you're begging to be punished. When someone's begging to be punished, they're probably going to punish you. So, this is how these people make their living. They take from hardworking people. So, let me just reiterate and explain that this doesn't have to do with harm or loss. This is only about statutes dealing with non-harm or loss. Like if you hurt someone or cause their property damage, then you are liable, period. But that's the only time that we should have to be worried about anything, ever, really. So when you go to court, you don't want to plea. That's the main thing. You can listen to any of the recordings that I have when I go to court. I do not enter a plea. Even if the judge tries to enter a plea for you, you could hear at the end of the Troy recording, he had entered a plea of not guilty, and I retracted that on the record, because we don't want to enter a plea until we understand, or we are clear, or have clarity on a few things. We need to understand the cause and nature of the accusations. The reason why they don't have jurisdiction over us is because statutes do not apply to people, because only harm or loss applies to people. Okay, statutes aren't given the force of law without the consent of the governed. Well, that's how we're giving our consent. We're giving our consent by pleading or asking for counsel. Asking for representation. So we need to learn how to not plea when we go to court, and we need to learn how to effectively enter in motions for dismissal, because in order for them to have a case against anyone, there has to be harm or loss, unless you give them jurisdiction, unless you give them information, unless you answer questions. Whoever's making the claim, whoever's entering the charges in against another person or whatever, they're the ones that have the burden of proof. They're the ones that have to prove that you did something wrong. So any information that you give them, you're just helping them. So just wanted to make this video to start out the informational end of it all. I've just been posting pretty much videos of court proceedings and things of that nature. I actually was able to appoint myself power of attorney for my goddaughter. She's only 16, and she had to go to court, and she was nervous, and she didn't understand at first. She had gotten into an accident, and she had insurance. The car was insured. So when she went to court, they were trying to have her prove all kinds of stuff. The prosecution was trying to have her prove all kinds of stuff, when the prosecution is the one that has the burden of proof. So, they have to explain to us, what jurisdiction it is, what authority that we're being tried under. They have to explain that to us before we can properly enter an informed plea. So, if you're not informed of the cause and nature of the accusations, then how are you able to properly proceed? How are you even to know what kind of a lawyer to search for, or what kind of representation that you should try to seek out, if you're not clear of the jurisdiction? The jurisdiction meaning the cause and nature of the accusations. Where do I go to study the case law that you're going to be adjudicating me under, basically. So I just wanted to start this video. This is going to be the first of many. I promise I'll make more. I'd like to apologize for the quality of the videos. I'm doing all of this off of a cell phone. I don't have a computer. All the recordings that I do in court are on another cell phone and recorded onto my cell phone and then uploaded. So please apologize. Forgive me for the quality. I'll try to work on making it better quality. But for now, this is the best I can do. So you'll have to bear with me. It's all about the information anyways. I mean, that's why I'm not worried about, showing any videos or anything like that. I don't have any of those capabilities at this time. And I'm just really more interested on getting the information out so people can start realizing what power that they have instead of giving the courts the power, because everything is for the record. So if you're going into court and whatever the judge says, and if you don't object, it stands. Like in the Troy video, that was one of the nicest judges I've ever had to go in front of, but he still tried to trick me. He tried saying, Miss Romano never said anything about jurisdiction the first time she was here. And if I didn't say anything, then that would have stood on the record, and we would never have been able to probably bring it up again. So I objected and said that jurisdiction could be challenged at any time, and I snapped him right back, and he allowed me to enter motions in. See, that's what I realized by listening to these videos. We need to snap them back. We need to learn how to make them do the right thing, because it is for the record still, and they have subordinates to answer to as well, and there are higher courts that you can bring these things to if you're not getting justice on the lower levels. So again, thank you for joining me. This is Capital District Court Block. Look forward to many more videos. This is something that I'm very passionate about. If anyone ever needs any help with anything or has any questions, you need someone to go to court with you so that you're not alone. I have plenty of time on my hands. This is something that drives me. I'm not looking for any monetary reimbursements or anything. The more I help and the more I talk about this stuff, the more comfortable I am and the easier it is for me. So this is like a passion of mine all of a sudden. It's fun to me, so I'm just going with it. So if anyone needs anything, you can contact me at Capital District Court Block 2016 at gmail.com. And I look forward to seeing some more subscribers and getting some more views and seeing some people start to realize that no one has the right to tell you what to do as long as you don't have the right to tell them what to do.